Welcome back to the PCL, guys. I am your host, Fawn, here with Goremizer on the desk. We are currently about to play in North American Xbox, I believe, for the final match of today's PCL.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fun one to watch in my eyes, just because we've seen Elevate, and Elevate has done a ton in this region. EStorm is one of the other rosters that has stuck together and has a very similar roster to what they were playing with in Split 1. So theoretically, getting better, using that time off to continue their work. I'm excited to see what they look like today.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they look like as well. I mean, we come from, it's been a long day. All these teams have been playing the best it is that they possibly can, and now we're ending it with Elevate versus EStorm, I believe, for North American Xbox, yeah.
And again, I think I'm most excited. Actually, very interesting because one of the players on EStorm that I remember very distinctly because of his name, V8 Androxus, was one of the only players who played Androxus. I want to know if maybe he's going to bring that champion in, if he's going to play it with the new talent, or what's going to go on there. Otherwise, I mean, Elevate, they've been an almost unstoppable force, and actually unstoppable force in this region, period, during the last split. So I expect maybe to see a little bit more of the same.
Yeah, both Elevate and EStorm both 1-0. This match will decide who will be the first one to take a loss in this upcoming matchup right now. They do have 3 in the game side, as well as EStorm only having their 1, but Elevate and EStorm still can't underestimate either of these teams. You still have to come in being really just with a proper mindset to be able to fight.
And Elevate, I mean, this is the one that comes in. They've won set. They've gone 3-0. Last split, they literally did not lose a single map. EStorm was one of the teams that was competing then, and Cats as well as Cats on Mars, but both of them have had the same struggles against them, which is just Elevate play too well as a team to take down, and so you have to have a very specific strategy to come through, pick them apart, and it's just so difficult to hit the nail right on the head when you're up against them.
Yeah, I would really imagine that would be a very difficult situation to put yourself in. The map bans do come through. We have Bazaar and Bright Marsh.
One day I'll get to see Bazaar again.
The first 2 maps that are banned, Splitstone and Shattered Desert as well. I believe, I don't know, is that the first Shattered Desert ban today? Because we haven't even really seen Shattered Desert be picked.
I know we had another one in the second set. I didn't see the map bans for the last set, but I know a couple of these teams have been banning it out just because of, I guess it's one of those things, again, a newer map, a completely different style than a lot of the maps that you have. Anything that you would classify as a standard, or even some of the ones that are more deviated. If you look at Ascension Peak, it's different from that one. You just have to have a different play style to make Shattered Desert work.
Yeah, well, we're going to go straight to the map picks here and see what their first map is. They decided to go for Jaguar Falls, something you see so often, not only in PCL, but PML and PPL. Just so many times where we see this map constantly being run as first map.
And I think last split it was the most picked console map, and I know as of right now in the PPL, it is the most picked PPL map played this split. Granted, it's only after 2 weeks, but it's just one of those things. It's, again, anything can happen on it. Everyone knows it really well, and it does come down to, can this, did this guy pop off? If he's playing Pip, what kind of strategy you want to bring to it? It's a very, very flexible map, and very standard layout. I think, honestly, it is probably the most standard map to be able to start a set on.
Yeah, I agree. The Victor Tyra ban and the Torvald Talus ban. Now, I wonder, are they banning out both hit scans so that way they can actually lock themselves? Well, they end up locking Jino. So what I was about to say doesn't matter. But what I was going to try and lead into was that I wonder if they were banning it to try and not only dampen or really stifle EStorm's DPS pool, but to try and take the Vivian. But now that it's open, I'm just.
It is that area of we want to tackle the Vivian because she is the next hit scan, although Leon can also maybe throw her name into the mix. But Genos has been very, very important. I mean, we've seen specifically Bust Down prioritize that earlier. I think a lot of these teams, especially Elevate, can make it work, and it's just he enables other champions. Very similar to Torvald, where it's just as long as you have him, someone else can come in. Yes, Vivian's really good, but maybe this champion, maybe Leon, who wouldn't quite be viewed in the same light as this Victor or this Vivian, all of a sudden can kind of put herself back on the table because of the Genos.
Yeah, they decided to go for Genos, Barrack, and Willow, something we see so often because of the blast damage it is that she has. Being able to actually just spread out those seedlings, being able to just use Blast Flower, the talent, be able to stack so much damage on top of somebody, it's going to be really important. But another Terminus hover, I don't know what's up with all these Terminuses today.
Someone got a memo, I didn't. That's I think what it comes down to. It's just Terminus, again, I think he can bring a lot to the table, and we have seen him do pretty significant things today.
Right.
I just don't know if it's worth it over Makoa. I don't like. It does come down again. I mentioned this the last time I was on the desk. There is, tracking him down and trying to like keep aiming. The aim assist pull does not quite lock onto him as much as it does other champions, but that on its own in my mind is not enough to say Terminus is the tank to go to. The EStorm are going to try it, though, so we'll just have to see how that goes.
Yeah, the final two characters being locked on Elevate are Makoa and Leon. I don't know who they're going to try and go for EStorm. They've got both their frontliners. They've got one of their DPS, and the question is, who in the situation would you try and pick, except for Drogos?
Drogos on Jack Falls can be good. I actually think this is going to be solid. I think he has a lot less to worry about, but that's when you just look at champions. I think this Leon, with a Genos, is going to pick on him. Atlas and Vivian really have to control the side. They have to control statue side or the dark room, whichever. They have to be in full control of it in order to stop the pressure from happening.
Well, with both of their teams locked in Elevate and EStorm, we're going to get right down to game one and hand it off to the casters.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, up there on the desk. Traditionally, it's a tough matchup for EStorm. Elevate have been a pretty infallible console team. They've been a heavyweight representative for a long, long time. But we're starting to see, at least in my eyes, more a trend of, even triple frontline being, you could overcome some type of matchup deficit like that. Nobody going for that in this particular matchup. That could be something that EStorm looked to utilize.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of teams who are kind of riding the slipstream, those first place teams that have been up there for so long. All the people below that are kind of gaining speed. I mean, like we mentioned it earlier with Cyclone from them taking that win, but a lot of catch-up happening. But Elevate has historically been they didn't drop a map, right? They were 3-0 straight through all the way. So it's going to be a harder mountain to climb for EStorm. I think they have an all right draft for it, but man, I mean, if any team's going to play the Drogos counter right, it's going to be Elevate.
For sure. A lot of times you see Drogos players just have to stay inside, stay safe, stay away, from these tough counters, tough out of line of sight, out of line of mind. Hopefully. See that being played a little bit here. Nobody dying just yet. Elevate's first sort of aggress will not come up with any first blood. This Terminus, if he hit that second axe swing, he might have killed that Barrack, but a little slippery Pirate Man manages to escape for the time being. Nobody really gaining too much advantage on the objective so far. A
little bit too much, I think, sustained from the failsafe. Term couldn't clean up on it. Dodge the Shatterfall. I mean, with Crush, that's a lot of value gone away. That's a 15-second cooldown for your entire talent, so good pressure, good dodging by Wonderful. One cap going to him. The whole team's kind of shifting to the right. That's where they want to play. I think they want to pressure that Leon so she can't put the counterfire in onto the Drogos. So I think good rotation by them.
Vivian has been so close to death so many times. It's only a matter of time before somebody manages to find the nail in the coffin, and Exodia will be the one to do it. Now having to worry about this Drogos pressure, but Drogos can't decide if he wants to shoot Barrack, wants to worry about Willow, who he wants to get this kill on. Only this Willow would push around that corner. You can see on Spectator the silhouette of Maldamba so low. About half HP right around that corner, but that's not the way it's going to go. Emmett gets pushed down by Atlas. A 93% lead on the objective means EStorm needs to respond.
I mean, Elevate was playing it really safe there with the rotation back. They didn't want to lose anybody, but I mean, EStorm found the hole. They pushed in, catching Trensic there. Emmett gets a trade onto Atlas. Wonderful going down as well. If they can find anything with that, but too much health on that Terminus. The Undying lives again, still holding this point, but Elevate have enough time to retake.
Close, man. Go on the horse, wrapping around. What's he going to be looking for? Enlightenment's ready to go. Ultimates are starting to fly. Kresnik, things are getting hairy on the objective. A couple of people pinned in a corner. Willow's going to find the angle, find the frag. Double kill now for Exodia. Exit stage left, full HP. Clean capture by Elevate there. It was close, but I think they knew they had that one wrapped up if they just took their time and did it smart.
Yeah, with the Vivian on the side, they had no counter to the Fae Flight, so just absolutely free firing from above, and we know that's Terminus's weakness, being surrounded from multiple sides. Normally, when you're thinking about your positioning, up isn't something you think about unless you're against a Wormjet Drogos. Yeah. It's like 20% of the time you have to think about it against a Willow, and unfortunately for EStorm, that was the 20%.
Sometimes it shakes out that way. Emmett slides confidently towards EStorm's back line, gets some good damage on Vivian, keeps her poked out, goes to work on the front line. Trensic, because Vivian's poked out, is opened up to pressure this front line. I mean, so far so good. The execution near flawless, up and over. Nice flutter there. I like the audible from Potts to kind of just like stay alive and end up super
Yeah.
deep in EStorm or Elevate's backline. But what can he really do with this?
If anything, he could harass Shu, but Shu is he's playing cover really well. There's really no way for him to get in. Emmett's even back here peeling for Shu. The tanks don't really need him. You know, General's such a fire and forget. He could just go, yeah, you take that mark. I'll deal with this back here. And
Yeah.
no one on EStorm even has a chance to touch the objective. The pressure from the tanks on Elevate is just too much.
So it goes kind of like one or two ways. Either everybody gets distracted by that Drogos and that awkward audible ends up paying off, but Elevate, I think, just too veteran to experience the team to fall prey to something like that. They manage to, you know, keep their eyes on the prize, continue to push forward, and they get that conversion, and Potts is just out of position.
Yeah, and there was nothing else he could have done with Emmett just looking back there straight at him. Shu, I think, positioned well too, but it's also part of the draft, right? Because both tanks are very self-sustaining. Trensic has the Ancient Rage to pop to keep himself alive if he needs to. Wonderful. Barrick is just such a self-sustaining tank. One of the reasons why he's so valued with Genos, you know, Healing Station, Bowling Ball, Failsafe, and the fact is he has some of the highest damage of all the tanks on top of that. So just having that draft let them go back to deal with Potts on the Drogos.
Well, Salvo finds a lot. Whoa, that crush almost landed up on the high ground. Doesn't matter. Holy shot. And a little bit of help from Drogos. Manages to get the job done. Anyway, Ancient Rage still available. Look at that big pierce on the Presence. Fear is actually going to keep Emmett safe for a little bit. He might just have to pop his Enlightenment and see what happens.
Looks like he's going to right in the face, but gets siphoned. Great by counter to counter that. Genos Shu rotating over here. He's so deep, he's so deep.
Yes!
They do catch the Vivian. Look how low the Mako is. I don't even think he'll be able to pop the Ancient Rage, and he doesn't. He decides to save it.
Oh, man.
Shu, sometimes it's so hard to like.
How did that Damba live that, dude?
Possession.
Is he running just a little bit of damage reduction? That's all it's. I mean, he lived with a sliver, man. Wonderful. Finds a kind of a flank. Hits the shot that matters most. That Maldamba almost escaped around the corner. Wonderful, doing a great job buying time on the objective. 74% though. Comeback Mechanic is making this a very easy capture for EStorm. Also, there's an Atlas in this game. I haven't seen too much from him. He gets slain out, unfortunately.
That's all you need to say about Struck User, right? I mean, he really hasn't said anything this game.
I've literally
so
been
far.
like, oh yeah, Atlas.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's supposed to be good. I mean, we saw him earlier trying to pressure Exodia, but the DR on Flutter kept him alive through that. I mean, EStorm, it's not like they don't have a chance to read Take, but Elevate aren't a team that are going to leave holes in their zone. EStorm just left a hole that let Wonderful come in and kill their support, right? I mean, Potts is going to try to open this up, but unless his Dragon Punch connects, I don't know if it's going to work.
Ooh, they look for Terminus taken out mid-flight, but has Reanimate, gets the Dragon Punch landed. Wonderful's here. Drops the Dome Shield, makes the last stand for Elevate. It's close, 99% to 93. Wonderful doing everything he can, but it just completely and totally surrounded by the red nameplates of EStorm. I don't know, this one looks like it could be it for Elevate. This payload is going to go the way of EStorm.
Yeah, that Dragon Punch connecting was all EStorm really needed. And plus Vivian being kind of uncontested. The Fey Flight was used earlier in the fight, so the Vivian being in that Sunroom wasn't as much of a disadvantage as it was before. You know, she just had to look at the point as opposed to the Willow, you know, pressuring all the tanks and everywhere else. Emmett finding a fantastic confirm onto Potts, all those auto cancels on his abilities. Plus, Elim resets means he's going to have that Eminence up in a couple seconds.
Yep, and one swing for good measure there on Intrinsic. Crush almost grabbing the kill. 2 minutes to push this payload on through. And starting off with a dead Makoa is definitely a good way to keep the momentum high as they round what isn't traditionally a choke point. Really, the first choke point is kind of here under the underpass where Exodia is. But even he getting picked off now. This looks like it could be a really good start to this push for EStorm.
Yeah, agreed. Exodia's playing a little too overconfident to this Drogo as Makoa reminding us that he has respawned back from it, pulling in Holy Shot, getting that. Counter trades him out though, and that's big. I mean, trading Vivian for that, yeah, you have Defender's advantage, but it's only just worth it now that Wonderful managed to get the pick on a counter.
Salvo primed and loosed on a Barrack. Doesn't care though. Emmett Payne pushes forward alongside Wonderful to make sure they grab that kill on the Potts. Defensive points still available here for Elevate. That's kind of what they're fighting for at the moment. This could be either a 3-1 or a 2-2, depending on which way the cart does end up going. A lot of those.
They saved it.
Saved ults?
Yeah, at this point, a minute left. I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe they use Fey Flight because the charge is so fast, but other than that, I mean, Elevate are probably fine with it going down 2-2 because that also removes comeback too. Fey Flight taken out, as I mentioned, coming in. It's charges so fast you can use it really quickly. Plus, they had the pick onto the Damba, so just get that free confirmed damage.
The duel in the skies, reach for the skies. Exodia lands, frankly, I think all but one shot there. Takes out Pot. Seedling goes out. Vivian, though, she wants this matchup toe-to-toe, flat ground against Willow. Holy shot, I'll take that any day of the week. 30 seconds on the clock now. And you're right. I mean, it would be nice to 3-1, but even if it's 2-2, no comeback mechanic, all their ults saved, you can just cap it and convert and win the game there if you're Elevate.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you play very differently with comeback and without comeback. And the fact is, I mean, they won the mid without comeback pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
I feel. So I think they should feel good going into that, but looks like they might not even need to worry about that. I mean, their defense is set up really well. Terminus, with the Makoa up, Terminus's life is way more forfeit than it would be otherwise. You know, coming up on the side, going for struck user instead though.
Yep, drops the stasis field. A little second chance, get him way on out of there. I don't see the reason to pop the stasis field to then just rewind away from it, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Emmett Payne finds the first kill. Emmett Payne finds the second and the third, maybe even the fourth. If the slow-mo timer will allow him, out of bullets, almost gets that presence off.
Right there.
For the quadra kill there. Drenzik playing the big boy, Makoa. He's going to have to play a big role in shutting this game down. It is 3-1, given that defense did hold. So that's a big part of it. Elevate will need to play around the comeback mechanic again and do so accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, if they put Trensic, I think Trensic's been on the far right? I think maybe they just match Trensic with the Terminus, since the hook is such a hard counter to the Siphon. I could see that being an opportunity. They have, you know, with that Siphon down, Willow's going to do a lot more. They don't have Fae Flight, but 60% that will charge almost immediately. I mean, that's like a 20 seconds into the mid kind of ultimate at this point.
Might be a ping thing, but if I remember correctly, if you get it right in Terminus's face with Ancient Rage, can he siphon those melee hits, or will you take those?
If you'd have to be pixel perfect,
right?
Because they made the start of the cone of the Siphon so small. I believe you can, but I think it actually you used to be able to. I don't think you can anymore. Gotcha. I could be wrong about that. It's been Terminus has been in a place.
He's not around very often.
He's been in a place, and that place is not here.
Well, 24%, quick little chip capture, grabbed. I like watching the cannonball slowly through the stasis field as well. Such a cool character, swinging for the fences, but under a dome shield. Reanimate's not going to be super effective under all that shielding. The Dragon Punch manages to find one consolation kill, taken out almost immediately after reviving. Terminus unable to be any more effective in this match than he was in the last round. It's a valiant stand for sure. But Elevate get to weather the storm, and they keep Ancient Rage online.
Yeah, I don't know if that Dragon Punch was worth it. That Barrack was kind of left out of it without his cooldown, so good on them. Forward zoning by Trensic here on the side, hooking the Drogos. He can't go in to touch the point. Didn't dismount the tank, though, so unless they're aware of that, this could be tough for them. He's Ancient Raging in their face just to make him distracted, but distraction was enough. He couldn't even make it.
That's going to do it, guys. Elevate managed to grab this one in just a couple of rounds. Small little speed bump there, and frankly, that's enough to see improvement for me out of EStorm, right? They get that point. They win a fight against Elevate, and they take the objective.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we didn't see too often last season with Elevate.
No.
You know, I mean, people called them the best PC team, the best console team against PC, most creative console team, and taking that, it's good for EStorm. You said it yourself, it shows improvement.
Yeah, they know how to do a lot of different things. Triple front lines, more standard stuff like this. Here's the post-game screen. Mr. Emmett Payne. Absolutely blowing everyone out of the water. 100,000 damage in a relatively quick game. Leon, he's quickly became one of my favorite console players to watch, frankly because of Cassie, but I think the Leon is definitely commendable and something that's very fun to watch in his champion pool as well. One of definitely the superstars of this Elevate squad that is comprised of nothing but superstars, it seems, which has, you know, allowed them to get this reputation that they have, the records that they have from Phase 1, and some of the LAN performances that they've had in the past.
I love the difference in Makoa loadouts that you see, I think, between like the different regions and consoles and stuff.
Yeah.
You never really see Harden a lot of the time. Harden being the 5% per level damage reduction after hook. Lets you get away with some stuff. I mean, I've seen it. We saw it last game. We saw it this game. Just being able to peek and get away with some stuff. But we talked a lot about Emmett, but the unsung hero of this game, I think, was Exodia. I mean, other than a couple risky peaks against Vivian, I mean, he was constantly outputting the damage. Willow's so good in this meta right now, and Fae Flight, again, won them this objective basically single-handed.
Yeah, Aldama getting kind of stuck there in the corner for just a second, and that second was all it took for Exodia to go to work. Tee off, swinging for some pretty big numbers there. You can see the Blast Flower talent. Nobody really to contest him. Vivian's trying to stay inside, giving up complete control to Willow on the outside. Tough stuff. A lot of things to play around, play with. Keep in mind, Elevate kind of do all of that very effectively. They managed to get the 4-1 here. Really impressive start from them, but that's kind of what we've come to expect from a squad like Elevate.
Oh, yeah.
They come through to the MSI, frankly, they don't have the best showing there, but that was the first cross-play event ever. Maybe they'll be the team to kind of step up and be that big representative for the console scene. They had an incredible record through all of Phase 1. They've shown us all different types of compositions and been successful with so much. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and we'll be back with game number 2.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins Console League.
Welcome back to the PCL, guys. Game 1 has already been said and done. Jaguar Falls was lost by EStorm, but Elevate decides to take their first game in that situation.
I mean, being able to come through, all 5 members of Elevate are really, really good at the game. That's something that they have proven time and time again, going 12-0 again last split, not dropping a single map, looking to keep that pace up. But when you put a magnifying glass on all of them, like, you get to see a lot of fun things. Like when you watch off tank play, when you watch frontline, like just general point tank play, I guess. But I just love watching Emmett Payne play DPS. I think I could do that genuinely all day. It's just so satisfying to watch it come through because he's just so good at almost every champion I see him play, and it's just very, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice thing to see. And on top of that, we're going to go for maps, I believe. We're going to see what it is they decide to pick for Game 2. Stone Keep is what they're going to opt to go for in this situation. I believe it was Jag Falls EStorm's map pick, or was it Elevate's map pick? I think it was.
I think that was Elevate's.
Yeah, I think Elevate was the one that ended up picking this map. So I believe, so I believe that since EStorm lost, they picked this map this time.
Well, they picked it preset. So the first two maps are always going to be determined going into. So Elevate knew Jag Falls, Stone Keep, they knew as well coming into this. And again, both of them relatively standard pit maps overall. Like, I'd argue that Jag Falls in my mind is literally like the most standard Paladins map you can have, period. Stone Keep's up there as well. Like, it's definitely going to have a little bit more nuance to it than I think that you would see. Like, Jag Falls very much feels like a play anything as long as you can make it work. Like, if you're a strong team, it'll be good there. Yeah. Stone Keep, there are going to be things that are stronger on it because of the layout. And of course, high ground control is always the thing that you're fighting over.
Yeah, Atlas, Torvald are the first two to be banned on EStorm side, followed by the Talus Terminus. They feel like that's a big enough threat for them to warrant a ban, which is interesting because not only that means that Makoa's open, Khan's open. Can you think of a reason for that?
I mean, it's a double whammy, right? Because they don't ban Tyra, they don't ban Vivian, they don't ban Victor. They get 2 of those 3 no matter what. They also don't ban Genos, so they get 2, they lose 2, no matter what. Whichever ones they feel more confident being able to play, and of course, whichever ones they feel confident playing against. But it's also that area, like we were saying last time, where it's just Terminus on his own is just kind of a nuisance to deal with.
Yeah.
And so just get rid of him. Like, if you're not going to play him and you know you can play around with the picks and bans enough, just ban what you don't want, and Terminus is the answer here.
Makes sense. And just on the dime, Tyra and Victor are picked for Elevate. Genos was lost first, but they're going to follow it up with a Makoa Barrack, I believe, which does make sense. They have a very strong sustainability composition right now, as long as like a very strong point and flank tank comp going on as well. Tyra and Victor, though, they'll be able to melt those shields pretty consistently. Like, one of them can do it pretty well, but having both of them, that's like that's definitely like your shields are done after like record 2 comes online.
And I really like the way Elevate's doing this, because like, so Genos, Makoa, Barrack, that's a scary trio to ever have on the other side. But they have Tyra, who can help deal with the Barrack Makoa. They have Victor, who's going to help deal with the Genos, potentially this Leon. But they go Inara Grover here. They get a really solid point tank, a really solid support behind her.
Run.
And they leave open that ability to say, we could go triple DPS here if we want. Or maybe we want to lock in Ashe. Maybe we want to lock in another different tank, or another off tank. Like, they have a lot of flexibility to play with this draft. And I honestly wouldn't be upset seeing a triple DPS.
Yeah, I understand that too, but they do manage to
But also
lock
Khan
the
exists.
Leon Vivian, and as you said, Khan does exist. He is open. They didn't pick him, so they opt to take that instead. Elevate and EStorm, both with their compositions locked down. Whose comp do you actually like a little bit?
I like
More than
Elevate's a little more. I just think it has more damage control.
Yeah.
I think EStorm are going to have a lot of potential behind them. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. I think Makoa, they're going to find kills. I think they're going to maybe even find a couple points this game. But I think long game control just leans over in terms of Elevate.
Yeah. Okay. I mean that does make a lot. That does make a lot of sense. Well, while both teams are locked in, we're going to see what they have in store for us for Game 2 on Stone Keep. We're going to toss it right down to the casters.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Heading in now to Game 2. Kind of rare to see Victor and Vivian and Tyra all open and selected. I guess if they're all open, they're going to be all selected.
Yeah, of course.
But to see them all make it through bans. Bit of a rarity here in the console scene. Elevate have 2 of them. EStorm only have 1. I know it's simple math, but from what I've seen, it's ripe to check out.
Well, I asked Dr. Olson earlier, and I found out that 2 is greater than 1.
Okay.
I have found out, so I'm feeling confident in
Resident mathematician.
Yeah, resident mathematician Dave Olson. I'm pretty confident in Elevate's draft, as Gore kind of mentioned. I like he said damage control. I like the flexibility that they have. I think they can go anywhere. I think they can play in church and play that point burn with the Inara Grover pocket. I think they can go up top and play like the Victor spamming from the side from church onto them. I think they have a lot of options.
I'm kind of just surprised personally to see Grover pocketing Inara be enough.
Without a Willow on the field, it can be.
Okay.
If the Inara is good enough with her cooldowns, it's more of like a death ball kind of composition, and they're obviously
don't,
playing
right?
it like
Yeah.
that too. Dishonor getting picked off, trying to peek that small little angle they had. Unfortunate, everything is going Elevate's way. Red to blue on the kill feed. No count time yet though, but I guarantee you it's going to start right now.
Yeah, they have that Grover, right, which lends itself to the more death. And while this isn't a traditional death ball, you have your hunting party, so even Khan and Inara are doing, pretty scary damage numbers at that point. Wall goes up, Elevate fall back. They did lose, they did grab the kill on Vivian.
Yeah, great stagger at the very end there for them.
For sure. Playing around these hunting party marks. Makoa is going to be here for the touch, but how much damage does he take on his way in? That's what we're about to find out. He's already at half HP. I don't know. If I were him, I wouldn't have been peeking the whole time. EStorm, unfortunately, they're going to lose this payload. Elevate grab this one 100-0.
That's one of the most important things on a team when you're zoning, right? Like, yeah, you always want to aggressively zone, get D mounts, but knowing when it's the time to just go back to the point, play in strong positions around it, and say, what is the biggest threat? What am I shooting first? Like, who will touch the point? They said, counter, and then he was just dead. Like that. I don't know if the mic picked up me snapping, but I did, I promise. Still, he just got melted instantly, and someone else who just got melted instantly pots into the barrage from Emmett.
And we'll cancel that one out, saving 40% charge. Bringing the goggles up costs 40%, and then each shell after that costs 20. It can be canceled at any time. Emmett Payne realizes this rifle is going to be just fine for me, and they are just rolling at the moment. Elevate off the back of this hunting party, off the back of this high ground control. There just seemingly is nothing to stop them. The overpower is going to pull in and dunk this Makoa off the map. Trunsic gives up high ground control after the fact. I think that might just be it. Just about done and dusted.
Yeah, look at all the damage on that shield. Counter won't be able to live too long. Has to dash off the cart because of the firebomb. Great use of cooldowns. Yeah, great use of cooldowns. And looking at this, I mean, EStorm basically have Elevate's draft from the last map. The difference is just the players behind it, Elevate have been doing this for a very long time, I think, by this point. I mean, it shows in their play.
Yeah, the ability to play around each other, because this composition kind of requires you to play around with hunting party specifically. You got to be able to focus the right targets, make sure everybody's in position. You have wonderful Trensic leading the charge, but you need everybody to kind of trust that and be there to provide follow-up damage, or else Trensic and Wonderful just get put in a bad spot, out of position and slain early on. And that's pretty much it. Double Wrecker, both at level 2, heading now into Cotter as Wonderful's actually picked up a Bulldozer. just to kind of get those turrets out of there a little bit quicker.
And Quad's not super important because they're against a Genos. You know, not a single kill on the board currently for
They're also obliterating everyone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Whirlwind actually coming in, I think, mostly just to save the KD, and I guess it's going to be enough. Holy shot, gets pulled in on the bottom and picked off. 3 kills going towards Elevate so far. Counter living on the point, but at this point, he should just be dying on the point. This is cap time being given up. He's lucky that they're not capping right now, but he's going to stagger himself even further here.
Yeah, dying all the same, despite whether it would have been on the capture objective or not. A couple of ultimates available for EStorm, but they don't really get much off. Barrage is ready to go for Elevate. That's all they have to slow down this take-back. I'm going to put in heavy quotations, attempt, as it looks like the attempt is already being quelled. The Barrage landing all 3 onto Makoa, forcing him out. Ancient Rage is ready. Shell Spin is not. That could be a problem. But that turtle might have enough time to waddle himself down to the objective.
Dove Shield actually has to be used off the point. He does make it in, but he might burn before he can get Ancient Rage off, and he does! He went for the hook instead. He should have done the Ancient Rage first. You have a cooldown where you can't use it immediately after. You're locked out, and it does not pay off for him to go for that. Trensic living on the high ground, distracting them. Wonderful, still stalling this Barrack on point. Cap time not going any way towards EStorm. Elevate still hold the number advantage and the damage advantage. His counter's probably about to get melted here.
She's going to make sure he maintains the high ground, but is still able to heal everyone up. Ancient Rage finally makes its way out onto the battlefield, but largely fighting on top of a firebomb there. Yeah. All the answers are there for Elevate, and they are simply playing their cards at the right time.
Yeah, and the only people who died for Elevate, it looks like, were the DPSs, Victor and Tyra getting picked off. Emmett also getting picked off by Potts. Good
Soloed!
Soloed. Those auto-canceled abilities by Leon are so good. She's so good at just 1v1ing a target. And she's great at spamming from the back line, too. It's one of the reasons she's been a mainstay for so long.
Emmett got 1v1 against EStorm. You heard it here first. V8 Potts takes him down.
I'm going on Twitter with that right now.
Head to it, man. Barrage to the high ground yet again. 1 lands, 2 lands. It looked like all 3 landed onto Makoa there. He gets a holy shot at the very least. This grenade will keep Makoa in combat at the very least, I guess. He's not getting a lot of healing up here. You mentioned the cauterized points. Tough for Genos to, keep anybody on their feet. He's going to give you a good head start and wish you the best.
Seismic Crash up top actually confirms 2 kills. 3 immediately going down on the other side for counter. Wow, just a quick death on his part. I don't know what dealt that early damage, but Elevate are just rocking and rolling here. Trensic so forward. Genos can't do anything out of spawn. He almost has overpower too to just equalize a tank out.
Oof, Battle Shout is good too. Immunes the damage from the laser beam. Makoa trying to get out of spawn. Wonderful, drops the Warder's Shield. Get this little pesky fella out of here. Tosses him way off into the distance. Drops to the low ground just like he did in round number 1. And just like they did in round number 1, Elevate will convert and they will win the game.
I mean, they did the same thing twice in a row. They look like a well-oiled machine.
If it ain't broke.
Exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They do the same play twice in a row, and EStorm just did not find the answer in the between time.
Elevate move very quickly without hesitation a lot of times, and even if it's not the best plan, just having those principles being adhered to is going to make that plan a lot more potent. Elevate, very, very scary on a lot of different stuff like we talked about here. Kind of surprised to even see the Victor Tyra make it through to them. Not something they would traditionally run if they didn't have to. Love the hit scan these console guys do, but they will run those blasters. They will run those more, up and down. They'll run the Leons. They'll run some Cassies, especially when you look at Elevate and the champion pool that Emmett Payne can bring.
And Emmett Payne bringing the pain this game, 67k damage.
Yeah, that's
really
a trend.
Quickly. Yeah, that is a trend. I should I even mention it at this point? I mean, it's just like a given, right? Like a law.
It's in his name. It's in the stats.
He emits pain.
It's written in. He emits pain. I love it, man. I love it. 7-2, 15-1 for Exodia, though.
It's a lot
of last hits, maybe? I don't know.
A lot of last hits. I mean, usually you don't expect the Tyra to be the one getting all those finishes, right? She should be like the assist lord. Maybe less so than Grover, because Grover could AFK and get assists.
Yeah.
Shu obviously was there, performing very well.
What are you saying about my boy Shu?
I'm saying that she was a wonderful player.
He is. He's a great guy, too. A lot of fun to be around. We're going to take a look at some Trensic highlights here. He was 7-1-12 on the con, running Storm of Bullets. This was the play from the first round that you just saw in the second round, but may as well have been the same time. Overpower somebody off. Frankly, being effective, and this is that area, man. That hunting party mark makes that con damage all the more scary. You got a guy like Trensic who can track you down. My goodness, con just becomes such a jack of all trades. Displacing the enemies, running them down, running through them if necessary, battle shouting away a couple of laser beams as well. That's always nice to see.
Yeah, I really like how Trinsic was positioning. I mean, he was really using the power of Storm Bullets. Like, we've seen Storm Bullets almost falling off in these PCL,
Yeah,
PML
almost.
games. People are picking up Vortex Grip when they don't have a lot of CC. And I mean, if you can hit
Where's
all that
the
mid-range
Leon's
confirm-
bulwark representation?
Yeah. Where is Leon's shield? I'm not going to lie. I tried it one game.
I have tried it as well.
I have never tried
and
it
I was
again.
like, man, this is not worth it.
No, not Wrecker. I mean, 100% charge rate is not any more than Wrecker. It's
Oh,
never going to
definitely
go.
not. Definitely not. Guys, we're going to take a quick little break. We'll be back with game number 3.
The Paladins Console League is brought to you by Evil Mojo Games, developers of Paladins.
Welcome back, guys, to the PCL. I'm your host, Fawn, here, joined here by Gore Miser. Now that Elevate is up 2-0, especially after such a dominating lead right there, it's really just going to beg to differ. Like, can they really just close out? Can they make the 3-0 adjustment?
And again, this is one of those things that it's more what can EStorm do against them,
Right, yeah,
more
true,
than what
true.
mistakes are what mistakes are Elevate going to make, right? EStorm has to step up to match the game, and that's always been the trouble with this region. I mean, Cats on Mars have been kind of close to doing it, but we haven't seen anybody really be able to get to Elevate and then stick it to Elevate and be like, cool, we can take you down or we can beat you. Again, not dropping a map the first split really is indicative of how good this team is.
Right, and like after a performance like that too, it's like it just begs to differ. Like, I mean, it just begs the question of whether like you said, like EStorm, if they really can make this adjustment, if they really can come back after that, after like what happened with Stone Key just now, they're currently up 2-0, only need one more game to make sure they actually can finish this off, make sure they can close this one out. Elevate's looking so good right now. And now the map's Frog Isles as well.
And one we haven't gotten to see all day. I mean, it's been banned a couple of the sets and just unpicked, I believe, otherwise. And Frog Isle, I mean, this is one of my favorite maps to watch when it comes down to it, especially when it's testing things. Because when you look at, I would say 4 out of the 5 maps that have been in the game, for a long time. Bright Marsh, maybe not as long as the others, but it has a very standard feel to it. Frog Isle has been here for a long time, but at the same time, teams will ban it out or they will avoid it because it is different. It's a little bit more wide open. Snipers typically can play a big role here, but for console, this is actually where I would see, well, if he weren't taken off the board, Victor potentially taking over the game because of the fact that he can kind of be multi-purpose. He can play that short range, mid range, and that long range and do all successfully.
Right, they decide to ban out those two, get them out of the way. Tyra Victor gone, Talus Torvald gone as well. That does leave Atlas open, that leaves Makoa open, that leaves Khan open. Like Anara would obviously stay open. So many frontliners that are on the board to pretty much mold your composition around in this situation. So that we're gonna possibly go for the Geno Strix, and that is one thing it is that I would be a little bit terrified of.
It's a good combo to have. I honestly, and this is just personal preference really when it comes down to it, I always love Geno's Kinessa just because you do enable yourself to have that one-shot potential. If you get the headshot, you get the charge, the 30% damage off your talent plus the 15% there. You can get some big numbers. Of course, against Atlas and Terminus, those kinds of numbers don't really matter. They're going to be tanky enough as it is. And that's what I'm most excited for right now. I mean, Terminus Drogos, that's going to be cool, all right. But watching Elevate with Atlas, I think, is going to be a good treat.
Now, this is in a situation like this, when you see that the Drogos is picked along with the Terminus, now they're going to try and lock Ash and They might try to lock another frontliner here. They might try and go for the Inara to try and prevent herself from being affected by really Deja Vu or the stun, maybe. I'm going to try and see if they go for that. But regardless, on that other situation, Drogos, would you really take Combustible over this on this map as opposed to Wormjets?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wormjets is really good on this map if they have no hit scan, and you just, at that point, you can play literally anywhere in the sky. But when they have a Strix on the other side, they have a Genos on the other side, now Barrack as well, being in the sky is the worst news that you could ever do. Like, it's probably the worst thing you could try to choose to do. And so I think this Drogo's going Combustible is going to be very, very good in controlling.
I'm excited for Combustible, but what I'm more excited for is Moji, my girl.
I love Moji.
I love her so much. She's my favorite, absolutely the best. Grover getting picked as well. Now, that's what's a little bit interesting to me, is that do you want to really try and go for the Grover in this case against Strix, really? I mean, like, I'm really trying to find out like what it is they're going for with this.
I think Grover will be fine. If he plays like down in Forest, he has enough healing to get up to Window, which is probably where Drogoz is going to be, and hiding around back there, as well as healing on the point, take a couple steps to your left, you should be able to heal around like the ramp and the statue. The thing that I'm worried about for Elevate is that they don't really like, their off-tank flank combo does not control ramp in my mind as good as Ashe plus anybody. Like, Ashe Khan own ramp on Frog Isle, so they're very solid there. Atlas Moji, I think it's going to be a lot of work, but they do a lot of damage, so Elevate will probably find a way.
Oh yeah, here we go. Elevate currently up 2-0 with this last game possibly in the books. We're going to throw it right down to the casters.
Thank you so much, Stefan and Gore. Things spicing up here, Kresnik. We've got ourselves a Moji. We've got ourselves a Terminus. I don't really know what to think about it.
We got Emoji counter pick.
Yeah.
They picked Ashe, and someone in Elevate was probably like, I want to eat that cookie in the middle of her ult. I want to just cancel her ult. Could be what it is, because that does work that way. It's something an interaction you don't really see much, because it's a character you don't really see much, you know?
Yeah, you're damage immune, but you're not immune to CC. You're not immune to, I guess, it's just technically a polymorph and getting chomped on. So there you go. There you have it. That's how you break that one down. Combustible. I'm sure we'll see it at least once or twice here, that interaction specifically between Ashe and Moji. Fairly quick to charge ultimate, but again, a lot of it depends on the amount of uptime you can get on this character.
My biggest worry is Elevate's aggression, because they have an aggressive, they have aggressive comp with Emoji, but the Drogoz isn't really an aggressive character on this map. He's mostly just doing combust. If they turn and burn point like they're doing right now, this could be unanswered, but this Barrack should disengage. Yep, puts the shield up. Exodia gets saved by the Blossom, and actually Trent's finding Struck User on the side, that Ashe going down, and the Strix is a little bit forward. He's going to immediately go down too. He is way overextended, I think, especially with his off-tank immediately falling.
So many Strixes just play the window. They find their angles. They kind of work from there, but moving forward down the ramp, not proving fruitful. 60% already grabbed for Elevate. Wonderful's got the hand, the stop sign has been completely planted down on EStorm. Genos falls very, very deep in the backline as well. Trenzik finding a nice shot, I think, to thread the needle there. Hello, Elevate not only capture the payload, but Wonderful is up in everyone's business on this Terminus. Such a versatile frontline player. He's played probably everyone in the cast at one time or another. Payne scuffed fire spit there, but I saw what he was going for.
It happens. I mean, that hitboxes on that thing.
Damn, look at the radius. Can we just marvel at the radius of Grover real quick?
Oh, it's insane. I'm assuming he's running Verdant Expanse 5
God.
too. I mean, it's so that's why the Elim resets are so good on him too, because you'll just be doing whatever and you'll get a limp. You won't even know they're coming. You'll be like, oh, did I just get gifted 30% off of my Blossom cooldown?
We need more supports running Kill the Heal out there.
It's so good on Grover.
You agree?
Straight up. I agree.
I mean,
it's like my second buy.
That was immediately what I, because I love Kill the Heal, period. Like even in like my late night onslaught queues.
I was gonna say you seem to be in my late game on.
Nobody buys COD. I'm like, I'm going Kill the Heal 3. I'm just gonna win this game.
What a deja vu! What a deja vu sending everybody back there. Oh my God, that caught the Genos. I don't know how he got set so far so fast, but they still find the peck. Actually, no, that was the Ashe. Exodia finding that one instead over by the danger side. Wide.
The combustible knockback. I was about to say, this is like the saddest death scene ever in a movie. Barrack is just like hemming and hawing away from Terminus as he gets murdered in the back of the head with his giant axe. And then who comes to save the day? Jump on the grenade, but Strix getting knocked away by a combustible fire spit. He gets one tapped.
You know, for all that doesn't make sense for lore
comedic
reasons.
Timing.
Yeah, exactly.
That is just good comedic
Elevate,
timing.
if you can't say anything about Elevate, you can say that they know comedy. still. Good on them. Triple boop on the side. The Toot actually goes up in the air, so I don't even know. I guess it does have infinite vertical radius. Learn something new every day. That's not an interaction I've seen before, but good to heal to keep everyone alive there. Catching Struck User on that little bit of an over-aggressive boop. Pressure is really good from Exodia. What else can they find here, Nick?
Oh, trying to dive under this dome shield. Maybe get this barrack, but he stays alive for the time being, and it's the full retreat call. It's 3-0. Fall in favor of EStorm. Something I have not said, I don't think, at all during this set. They managed to stabilize for a little while. Elevate have almost every ultimate available. They're in a good position on the payload, but they don't have a lot of time. That's probably why you're seeing Pain hit the gas pedal right now.
It was also smart for him, too, because they didn't know that he was sitting there, so really free. Massive combustible. Also combined with the crush stun too, so Wonderful does get the kill into Holy Shot. No sniper pressure up for them now. Barrack also rewound. No failsafe. He's down too. Only Leon is up on the cart. The Ashe is going to respawn, but if she tries to assert dominance on the cart, Elevate does have an answer.
They sure do, and they won't. Quietly, this round shall come to an end. 2-0 start for Elevate, and all they spent was Dragon Punch. All they used, and that's, again, goes to show you, what a solid team this is. What they can make so much out of so little. Just that pick from Dragon Punch. Frankly, the crush stun into the 3 or 4-man combustible was pretty damn nice. Almost of an ultimate caliber play anyway. But they turned that one little Dragon Punch pick into a landslide that EStorm could not dig in and stop. So they will be down 2-0. A lot of ultimates used for EStorm as well. Enlightenment's not ready to go. Neither is Dome Shield. Far off the mark, as well as time and space being both under 30%.
Yeah, the economy is just so in Elevate's favor. Like they said, they have assert dominance. Normally, I'd be like, yeah, that's great. It's probably immediately going to get hit with Moji's cookie, and it's going to fall off. They want to start with the Exile instead, though, I guess, trying to deny the aggression. It comes in, only gets 1. He used all 3 charges, though, so no charge left for him. Exodia just playing the angles he can. He really can't get any further than those pillars on the point.
Very aware of the Strix, not wanting to take that damage. I mean, Exodia is just floating left, floating right, floating left, floating right, trying to find anywhere, any way he can be useful. And frankly, that amount of, just rotational promptness has really set Elevate up for a nice little start here on this objective. 51%. The Enlightenment rips through to try and shut this Grover down, but he's loud and proud about it. Might get the kill with the axe. He does. Shu from downtown. Nicely put. Everyone's doing their part. I mean, everyone could deserve a medal for something in that team fight from Elevate.
Man, Crush, you think about how good assert dominance is when you use it from the ground to land into the window?
Yeah.
Crushes that every 15 seconds.
Sure is.
It's pretty good. I mean, I undersold it for a while, but after the nerfs to the other cards, you can really see it coming in. Also, probably going to guarantee a pick into the Leon. Trensic so deep in the Vines area in that backline. Trades his life forward. Exodia also lost his life a little bit earlier, but I mean, Elevate's got the cart, and EStorm have so much ground to cover to even be able to stop it.
Yeah, they want to get this car up and running as soon as possible. Holy Shot, pretty aggressive the majority of this game with his positioning, and I think that has been largely punished. Saw that one kind of death that we're picking on here on the stairs, up and down again. The stun from Wonderful has been really impactful setup for the rest of Elevate, and this train just does not look like it's stopping. We might not get to see the polymorph coming. What is the actual official name of that ult?
I don't.
Is it Yum? Is it Snack Time?
I think it's snack time. Is it snack? I just called it Cookie.
I think it's Snack Time. Yeah, I think it's Snack Time, and I think they're in this like damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing, where Exodia is not going to pop his ult until he sees EStorm dominance.
Exactly.
EStorm dominance isn't blah blah.
Just like Midnight and Scout.
Yeah, so like, and then nobody ends up using anything. But I think that's much more detrimental for Ashe. I think Moji's chilling. Her ultimate's
straight up
kind of eh.
If I get a kill with Snack Time, I'm like, oh, cool. I mean, like, great. That's more than I was expecting. I just wanted to CC you for like 2 seconds, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a fun composition, a fun character to see come through, and a fun counter pick that Kreznik mentioned. Having that interaction, shutting down one of the most powerful ultimates in the game in assert dominance in such a comedic and kind of funny way in Snack Time. Moji, don't get to see her very often, but she brings a lot of utility. Recently reworked in the damage, so maybe this is a character that gets revisited. Who can really say for sure. Take a look at some of the final stats here in this one, and it is actually Potts that comes out on top of the damage, if that matters to you.
No, I'm not too surprised, honestly. Like, yeah, Elevate were looking dominant like throughout that entire game, but I mean, EStorm had the Genos for the damage boost, and Elevate had a more sustaining comp, I guess. I mean, they had the Grover. They're going to be soaking a lot of damage. Plus, Exodia Pan, those aren't they're playing characters that aren't going to be getting the poke level the same way that Shot and Potts would be.
Still 6-1 though. Still almost 7.3k healing on the Moji. Shout outs to that. It's definitely helpful. The Toot Legendary, the only one that has ever really been played for her, leaving that little cloud, sustain, movement speed, all kinds of fun stuff there. But that does it for this set, guys. Elevate and EStorm, the book has been closed. Elevate do 3-0 here. I don't know if I expected too much different from them today. Absolutely phenomenal performance. We're going to take a look at a couple of these Moji replays. And I really like what you kind of mentioned about the counterplay there with the ultimate, but never getting to see it. You almost get to see the rest of this kit highlighted because she was literally forced to hold the snack time basically the entire game.
Yeah.
You saw everything else put on a nice little display.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought Exodia was positioning really well. I mentioned before how he was playing that pillar, which I guess was just wide enough to hold Moji's absurdly massive hitbox behind it.
Oh, yeah.
So positioning really well. Plus also, I mean, I think the familiar spit or the familiar spray or familiar vomit, whatever you want to call it, I think it reaches everywhere from that spot. So this seems like a really well thought out play from draft-wise from
It's
Elevate.
a fun one. It feels like, I don't know why, just watching it back to me, but it feels like the spit, like the projectile.
Yeah, you were doing that. You were just...
It looks like they changed the animation.
They did, because I think it's faster.
It's like really
it
quick.
fires
Comes
way
out
faster
so
now.
quick now. It's kind of funny to watch these little nuanced things. But that's kind of like all that change about Moji.
Yeah.
One of the most fun, unique characters, I think, in the game.
Definitely.
In terms of how she deals damage. Her kit, super fun to play with as well. But again, that does it, guys. 3-0 here for Elevate. Let's get it back up to the desk. Close out the day.
Very well played from Elevate. 3-0 clean sweep all the way through. Efficient gameplay with closing out with a little bit of emoji showcase at the very end.
I think just showcasing that they're the best in their region and that it's going to take a lot to be able to prove that wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's very, very true. And how could you actually dispute that? I mean, like from last week, once again, like I believe it was another 3-0. To this week, another 3-0. Like they're so dominant at what they do, and they just know how to play some Paladins.
It's one of those things that they are, I mean, based on what I see out of some of the other console teams and based on what we saw out of MSI, there are a couple teams that are obviously going to be vying for that top console spot that we'll get to see, as the World Championship comes around or the qualifiers prior comes around. But Elevate, hands down, if they have everybody on their team, in my mind, are one of the best, if not the best console team that we have. So again, a lot of work is going to have to go into to make sure they get taken down at any point.
Right. I mean, after today, man, I 100% believe it. We're going to look at the schedule here, see what the games were like all the way through. Aaron Manor, Flashpoint, Bust Down, Vroom Vroom, Onslaught, Hydra Gaming being the last. No, sorry, not the last one. I was looking again. Hydra Gaming, and then Elevate being the final game of today. All of those winners all the way through. A bunch of 3-1s, a bunch of 3-0s consistently all throughout the day. Just very well played from all these teams.
I think the most interesting is the fact that Vroom Vroom beat Cyclone. That's probably the biggest thing out of today, because Cyclone, again, they lost 4 total maps, I believe, last split, but they didn't lose a set. This is the first set loss they've received all year. So very, very big for Vroom Vroom to kind of solidify themselves as the top in that region. And now let's going to see, honestly, if they can maintain that.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to have to see if they can. The standings for NA currently, Elevate having taken a game onto EStorm already today, puts them at 6. EStorm's now -2. Cats on Mars at second place. Third is EStorm. Fourth is Waste Potential, and that's for Xbox One. Then for PS4, Hydra Gaming, Onslaught, Streamex, and Nemesis. All of them with Hydra Gaming being in the lead and Onslaught having a close second.
And it's actually really interesting to see where Nemesis has ended up there now at 4th with a -5 plus-minus on the games, just because, I mean, last split, most of that team was fighting with Onslaught for first. Now you can see Onslaught, Hydra off to a great first step, whereas, well, unfortunately for Nemesis, they just haven't quite been able to kind of cinch their style.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't talk about NA without talking about EU. Here are the EU standings for Xbox and PS4. Vroom Vroom, Cyclone, both 1 and 2 spot respectively. Third place being Bust Down, with Effect having a -4 in the current spot, being the last one there. PS4, Flashpoint, Aaron Manor, Aerial Arise, and Stush Gaming. All of them currently haven't played today. Flashpoint and Aaron Manor being in the top 2 spots for PS4 for EU.
I believe in Stush, though. I think that 0-2, both being 3-0s for them, is on par with what we saw last split, but I think what we saw out of them today, I think they have a ton of potential for growth. I don't know if they're going to be a team that takes that first place spot away, but I think they could easily find themselves in second in this region and potentially putting maybe some more pressure onto Flashpoint.
Yeah, I mean, being 0-2 is not the worst possible thing to happen either. They still have plenty of time to make a comeback, plenty of time to keep on going, keep on trucking forward. We're going to take a quick look at next week's schedule, though, so you guys know what we have planned next week. On Monday, we have PS4 Europe first game, Flashpoint Air Monitor, followed by Xbox Europe, Cyclone and Effect, Nemesis and Strimix, ending with Elevate and Wasted Potential for Xbox NA.
Biggest one stands out. I mean, the first one, Flashpoint,
exactly.
Aaron, right? Aerial Rise, Stush Gaming, both have lost to Flashpoint. Both have been taken down. Aaron Manor is going to be either the next team on the chopping block for them, or one team that could upset them, right? That's going to be kind of where their position is right now, being the 1 and 2 matchup as it stands currently. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one shakes out, but it's just the beginning of the day. Everything after that, again, it's just kind of showcasing and highlighting all these teams that we haven't quite gotten to see yet.
Yeah, I mean, but what a very interesting day. We've seen so many Termini, I guess. Termini. We've seen so many Termini. We've seen Grok. We've seen Emoji. We've seen the whole 9 yards today. But thank you guys so much for joining us for the PCL. I'm Fawn. This is Gormizer. And we'll see you guys next week.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the Paladins Console League.